Hello everybody, welcome to Infinity and Paradox. Today, I want to give you a brief introspection about the feminine archetype and the masculine archetype. A brief reflection on this wonderful dichotomy of being. Man and woman have both feminine and masculine aspects. The fact that men are male doesn't mean they possess only the masculine archetype. Also, it is not because women are female that they only manifest the feminine archetype. Thinking so is not realistic. On the contrary, it is being an ideological fundamentalist with a black and white view of the world. And that is not how the world really works, nor has it ever been that way. Honest observation shows us that the way of the feminine archetype, the property of being feminine, includes fragility, anxiety, and insecurity, but also the ability to be kind, sensitive, to nurture, to feel empathy for others, and an innate ability to appreciate beauty. These make the feminine archetype. On the other hand, the characteristics of being masculine include dominance, inflexibility, aggressiveness, but also emotional stability, reasoning, courage, and strength. And why do I make this distinction? Because this is what is observed mostly and statistically in each gender. However, women are not completely feminine and men are not entirely masculine. Each one of us carries its own mix of characteristics from both archetypes. Going back to the fundamental principles of Taoism, that is the yin and the yang, I make my case with the following metaphor. The masculine archetype is like the ground that forms the landscape. It manifests itself in a rock and eventually becomes a mountain. It emanates characteristics such as stability. It is anchored and it inspires grandiosity and strength. While the feminine archetype is like the water that nourishes and that ends up forming rivers, courses and currents, flexible, central curves and meanders that caress the landscape. It is the rivers that end up forming the valleys, the vessel of the world, as fertile as the womb of a woman. However, it is the landscape that supports the rivers. It is the terrain with its roughness that forces the river to smile deeper and deeper meanders, craving the masculine archetype that will grow into a mountain over the years. It is the masculine being that supports the feminine being, but it is the feminine being that shapes the masculine being, and therefore none is better than the other. Together they work on each other's sculptures. We girls and women are as we are because boys and men are as they are, and boys and men are as they are because girls and women are as we are. What came first, the egg or the chicken? Being male or being female? They both come from an infinitesimal, and therefore none of the archetypes and their combinations are intrinsically at fault when it comes to the war of the sexes. Fitting this perspective into everyday life allows me to accept myself and others. This way, I recognize my place in the world because I am aware of the archetypes of which I am made. For example, from the point of view of a woman whose feminine archetype is more amplified than the masculine archetype, she will feel pressure from women with a stronger masculine archetype when she is confronted to evolve in her career, and when this evolution involves aspects of leadership, dominance, and professional ambition, which will probably not be to her liking, as it is something very characteristic of being masculine. However, these more feminine women, who often feel lost in their life choices, should feel proud of what they are and not accept the pressure of other female peers. In the same way, from the point of view of a more sensitive man, characteristic of a feminine archetype, he should not feel pressured either. And the masculine archetype must also recognize the relevance of the female archetype, and that it could never manifest itself as a mountain if there were no valleys. When we observe a natural landscape, we are pleased with its beauty. We don't judge. We are open to appreciation. If we take this into the perspective of the mountain and the valley analogy, we can also observe without judging and be pleased with the human landscape. Bye. Thank you for listening to me, and see you next time.